So, Parik, what is your take on Woven in Kirklees, which of course is the overarching festival which Woven in Practice is part of, and how the university plays into that?
Look, Andrew, before I start, I want to thank my colleagues Ruan Belli, yourself, all the colleagues from marketing department for the brilliant work that you all did. Means I can only appreciate how much work went into arranging this. So thank you very much. Now I'll try to answer your question. Why I think oven is so important in the context of the university is university is not separate from the wider community. What oven does is oven brings that community uh, towards the university. It makes the boundary between the wider community and the university porous. What happens with that is we get a framework to interact with uh, every stakeholders that university got. The industry, we need to communicate with them very closely and frequently so that we know what is the direction of travel for that industry, what we need to teach our students, areas where we need to fundamentally create more knowledge. Oven gives that platform. Now the industry depends on the normal people who are going to buy stuff that the industry produce. Now Oven is a platform where we can interact with general public. We can understand again what is the direction of travel. So Oven gives a 360-degree view of what we should do as an university, how we should channelize our resources to plan for future. And that is why this conference is so important for me. This conference is important because it kind of in a way brings all the stakeholders into one platform so that we can discuss, we can plan, we can shape the future as one unit where all the stakeholders are there. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Parik. You mentioned that sort of engagement with the public, the engagement with the community. What other initiatives is the Department of Fashion and Textiles doing in that particular regard?
Uh, there's a lot of different things, Andrew, we are doing, but I'll try to mention one as an example. We are doing a, Department of Fashion and Textiles public lecture series where we are trying to bring industry experts to give lecture on how the industry is, the direction of travel, and we are inviting every stakeholder. It's an open door policy. Not only general public, people from the industry, from our region are attending that, but people from all over the world is attending that. Means the motto of University of Huddersfield is we are a global university with global outreach and global view. So we are doing that lecture series so that not only people can understand the direction of travel of fashion and textile industry. Now I think after 2 days of conference I don't have to highlight why. From a sustainability perspective, from a circular economy perspective, this industry is key to achieve real sustainability, and we want to engage general public in that. We want to engage the industry, we want to give the same platform, and therefore uh, oven is a brilliant initiative, but we are not stopping there. On regular interval we are arranging fashion and textile lecture series where everybody can understand. It's a continuous process where we want to discuss with people, we want to shape our approach and please attend to everybody. Please attend the departmental public lecture series, because not only you can hear what is happening in the industry, but you can shape where the industry goes.
Thanks, Parik. Are there any other things the university is doing to engage with the wider civic society, if you like?
That's actually a really good question, Andrew, because see, the really important bit is how, as an university, whatever we are doing, however way we are creating primary knowledge, we distribute that. We distribute that to shape the policy. We distribute that to create new products, new sustainable approach, so on and so forth. Now, if we shift our attention to textile and fashion industry, you will realize the supply chain is not only complex, but it is a global supply chain. Means you probably have garments in your wardrobe where the buttons came from North America and the fabric came from China and India and assembled in UK. So if you really want to make a difference, you can't really work in your office in your region and make a difference. You have to interact with the wider world in a meaningful way. Now, civic society, and we are lucky, right? In our region, we are so lucky because from a council level to LEP to Northern Powerhouse, everybody is willing to interact with the universities, create bridges between the university, the industries, even to the ultimate stakeholder, the consumer. And civic society is playing a huge role. And we are part of that system. Means only last year, obviously, we couldn't travel much, but still before that, uh, we are part of Northern Powerhouse delegations to Arab Health Show in Dubai. We traveled to China. We traveled to India. Even during the lockdown, we did a lot of virtual events, so that not only we can go to places like India, China, and elsewhere to scan opportunities, bring that back for our industries to benefit from that, but we can also understand how we can contribute to the industries in places like China and India, try to map, try to model where the industry is going as a whole, as a global unit. And I think our civic societies is working with us to make that process to some extent easier for us to understand that holistic picture, what is happening in our industry. And we are doing a lot in that initiative. I'll give you one tangible outcome, right? Indian government recently announced 1.4 trillion US dollars for infrastructural development, and they published a document where they said that technical textiles will play a huge role in that 1.4 trillion dollars investment. Now, with our civic societies, we did some events very recently in India, and we are trying to go there. We are trying to scan that opportunity. We are trying to understand the gaps in knowledge, in supply chain, and we are bringing that back, working with our industries so that we can create a industrial supply chain where we absolutely know the demand and we can cater the supply accordingly. And for me, the civic society plays a huge role in that knowledge infrastructure.
Well, in terms of society, of course, our next generation of society, the students who are currently at school, the next generation of designers, of scientists, of sellers, of buyers, all the people who play a role in the textile industry, the fashion and textile industry, I should say, moving forward. What would you say to any young people watching this who are considering to move forward with an education and potentially a career in fashion and textiles? What's the future like in your view?
fashion and textile industry is an industry which is evolving on a regular basis. Fashion and textiles is an industry which can give you complete creative freedom, as well as fashion and textile industries. You can actually use your creativity, your technical ability, and you can create products. You can make real difference to the society, the circular economy angle, the sustainability angle, so on and so forth. However, if you look at textiles, means textiles are used from fashion applications to craft, right the way through rocket science. You can find textiles in Rolls Royce, in the rockets, in the aeroplanes, in your garments, so on and so forth. So studying textiles and fashion gives you a launching pad to a lot of different industries, and you can really make meaningful difference because of the consumption pattern in textiles, circular economy, as I mentioned, sustainability. However, the most important thing is the decision you make about what to study is really important. So, do your research. There are lots of information available in the university website. Well, I mentioned the departmental lecture series. Go and watch them. You will get an idea of the industry. You will get an idea of what you might do after graduation. So make an informed choice. This decision is important. So make a choice that fits you, that works for you. That is really important.
Would you say that the fashion and textile industries are growing industries? Do they have a bright future? Are there skills gaps? Are there big opportunities there?
So Andrew, means people sometimes don't realize that fashion and textile contribute 33 billion to UK GDP. And in UK, in the wider textile and fashion supply chain, 900,000 people are employed in the UK. It's a big industry. It's a big industry. Is it growing? Means textiles at the moment is applied, say medical textiles, right? It is a very big growing area. We are trying to solve real medical uh, problems with textile interventions, and it is outside the scope to discuss it today. But a short, sweet answer is it is a very big industry with 900 more than 900,000 people employed in this industry, and this industry is growing at a pace which is difficult to imagine, and we are actually scanning the horizon on a regular basis, and textile is contributing to industries that you can't even think of if you don't know this subject area, right? Like automotive, rocket science, medical intervention, so on and so forth. So very exciting, very exciting. The future for textiles and fashion is really exciting.
Absolutely. It marvels me working in textiles the number of different areas that we work in. Everything, as you say, from rocket science to wound dressings to house insulation to clothing. And that's just on the technical side, obviously, in terms of the design, the craft, the wonderful, the wonderful work that creatives do in terms of aesthetics and design from that point of view. Which maybe brings me on to another question in terms of the connection there, because traditionally scientists are scientists and artists, or designers are designers. What is what do you think the university is doing to try and break down those barriers, to try and get people from potentially different backgrounds, such as the sciences and the arts, to actually work together, to talk together? And can you talk about some of the things that are happening at the Department of Fashion and Textiles in that particular area?
Well, I can definitely talk about what is happening in fashion and textiles, but I'll start with saying textiles inherently makes the boundary between creatives and technologies porous. Means if you look at any textiles, any fashion article, it actually shouts interdisciplinarity, because some technologists means some of the textile machines like weaving machine and knitting machine are pretty complex engineering. You are using that to create brilliant artistic outputs, creative outputs. That is what textile does. Means it is doing that from ever. Means it is just making the boundary between the technologists and creatives porous. What we are doing as a department, we are trying to make that porous boundary vanish. When that porous boundary vanishes, it becomes transdisciplinary research. What I mean by that is, we are trying to give our creative colleagues tools that they can use. For example, we are trying to teach our students our about, say, nanotechnology. We are teaching them how nanotechnology works so that they can use that as a tool and use it in their technical, in their creative applications. When that happens, when the cutting edge science meets brilliant creative practitioners, magic is created. And in fashion and textile department, we are absolutely motivated to create that magic by bringing technologists, scientists, and creatives together, having that knowledge, creating new generation of graduates who knows about all this stuff, who can bring together the technological, the scientific, the creative outputs, blend it together so that the output is not textiles or fashion anymore. It's magic.
Thanks, Parik. And I believe you were involved with a project at Yorkshire Sculpture Park. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So basically what happened is, one of my friend and colleague, Ruan, whom I mentioned before today, introduced me to Holly Henry. uh, she does sculpture and very good at it, and we started chatting, and we brought our skills, my skills from a technological scientific side, and her skills in making sculpture, a brilliant artist together, and a sculpture was created. It was exhibited in Yorkshire Sculpture Park, and it uh, got of good reviews, right? It was covered in the national press as well. But why I was so excited, because it actually shows the fun of scientists working with artists. It actually helps to expand our horizons. Means I learned enormous amount from Holly. I'm sure I have contributed a bit to her knowledge as well. There was a tangible output, but what was not tangible is how our knowledge horizon expanded as part of that exercise. And you know what? As an academic, I'm absolutely passionate to capture that, where we are challenging ourselves, we are challenging to learn new skills, we are challenging to explore other disciplines. And that project in Yorkshire Sculpture Park is an output of that, where we, both me and Holly, pushed our limit, and we created something that I think we both are very proud of.
Thanks, Parik. Is there? We're coming to the end of the conference now. We've had 2 days of incredibly varied, diverse content. To close out this conference, is there anything you'd like to say to the people watching on their screens at home?
Well, firstly, to start with, thank you everybody for attending the conference. What is really important, that we don't make it the end point. This is just the beginning. as an university, as I was trying to say, we want to create a partnership. We want to create a partnership with the industry. We want to create a partnership with our prospective students. We want to create a partnership with our alumni, and we want to create a partnership with general public, because textiles and fashion products are used by one and all. So please uh, treat this platform as a starting point. Please keep in touch with us. We want to interact with you. We want to know your thoughts. It doesn't matter you're from the industry, you're just a general member of the public, or you're from the civic society. Please keep the dialogue open. As an industry, fashion and textiles, we have a long way to go. We have to significantly contribute to make our industry and the world in general sustainable. We have to practice circular economy. This is just the beginning. This platform is just the starting point of something brilliant. So let's keep that spirit up. Let's work together and we can make a difference. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Parik. And with that, I believe we'll draw the conference to a close. Thank you, everyone, very much for attending. And on behalf of us all here at the Department of Fashion and Textiles, the Centre for Cultural Ecologies, and the Technical Textiles Research Centre, thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed the conference. Thank you.